Welcome to this explainer. Right off the bat, I want you to do something for me. Just take a deep breath and let your shoulders drop. Today, we're diving into something pretty intense. We're talking about how socializing is slowly destroying your mind. I know, it sounds a bit extreme, right? But we're going to explore a deeply intimate and honestly, mostly ignored reality about the way we're all living today. We're going to see exactly how this unrelenting, 24/7 pressure to connect is actually pulling us apart from the inside out. The human mind was never designed to hear hundreds of opinions every single day. Just think about your typical daily routine for a second. Modern life forces us into this endless, deafening social noise. From the second you wake up and grab your phone to the moment you finally close your eyes, you're just bombarded with what everyone else is doing, what they're thinking, and what they expect of you. And slowly, quietly, without you even realizing it's happening, something inside you starts breaking.
So let's get right into it with part one, the addiction to attention.
To really understand why we feel so drained all the time, we have to look at the hidden motives behind our daily interactions. Based on insights from behavioral expert Chase Hughes, the real core issue we're dealing with here is validation dependency. Now, this isn't some personality flaw, so don't beat yourself up over it. It's actual psychological conditioning. Our minds have literally been trained to seek out constant validation. And when your entire sense of self-worth becomes completely reliant on continuous external approval, well, you're no longer in the driver's seat of your own life. You're just reacting to the crowd.
This builds up into this inescapable three-step loop. Step one is the trigger. Think of a notification lighting up your screen. Step two is the action, right? The mindless scrolling or that frantic need to reply immediately. And step three is the reward, that tiny, super fleeting hit of validation. This exact sequence basically brainwashes you. It locks you into a state of constant low-level stimulation. We're essentially being trained, kind of like Pavlov's dogs, to just automatically respond to the bell of social expectation.
And honestly, look at the behaviors this conditioning actually produces in us. Constant scrolling, a genuine fear of silence, leaning way too hard on group chats, or even just performing fake laughter to keep the peace. According to behavioral analysis, these are not just bad habits. They're a desperate survival pattern. We're doing these things to avoid the sheer terror of sitting alone with our own quiet thoughts. The noise just becomes a shield to protect us from ourselves.
Which brings us to part two, the loss of identity. See, when you are constantly tuned into the frequency of other people, your own inner voice gets turned down to a total whisper. To understand why this happens, we can look at the famous Ash conformity experiment. This psychological study proved something kind of terrifying. It showed that when individuals are placed in a room with actors giving obviously wrong answers, nearly 75% of them will literally abandon their own eyes and their own reality just to fit in with the group. We are incredibly hardwired for social masking. We'd quite literally rather be wrong with the crowd than be right all by ourselves.
And because of that deep, primal need to conform, there's a daily war raging inside your head right now. It's who you actually are versus what the crowd expects you to be. We're constantly shifting our personalities. We chameleon our way through the day, blending into the crowd at the office, blending in the group chat, blending at the dinner table. We totally fragment our identity just to make absolutely sure we don't upset the social order. But the burden of this comparison culture is incredibly heavy. You probably find yourself constantly defending your choices. You end up altering your true nature. You might even adopt toxic behaviors just to mirror the people around you. And worst of all, you actively silence your own thoughts. In a matter of seconds, you learn to spot exactly what the room wants, and you sacrifice who you actually are just to give it to them. This naturally leads us to part three, complete mental exhaustion. You know, you can really only play a character for so long before the actor just collapses. And this is exactly what it looks like to hit psychological rock bottom. It's rarely some dramatic, movie-style breakdown. Mostly, it's just a quiet, crushing fatigue. The mental habit that keeps you miserable forever isn't even necessarily negative thinking. It's this constant pressure to conform, trying to be everything to everyone, making absolutely sure you never step out of line or miss a social cue. That unwavering obedience mathematically leads directly to burnout. Let's break down the actual symptoms of this. First up, we've got decision fatigue. Every single social interaction requires hundreds of tiny micro decisions. How do I reply to this text? What exact tone should I use? Wait, did they take that the wrong way? It just drains your cognitive battery so incredibly fast. Then you add emotional burnout to the mix. Think about that suffocating feeling of being packed onto a crowded subway train or standing in one of those overstimulating, noisy, open-plan offices. Your nervous system is perpetually stuck on high alert, just constantly absorbing the emotional states and all the anxieties of everyone around you.
And finally, we get to the inability to think deeply. This constant state of low-level social anxiety completely destroys our capacity for deep, meaningful, focused thought. Your brain gets so busy scanning the horizon for any potential social threats or bits of validation that it simply doesn't have the processing power left to actually think for itself.
Obedience to constant social demands creates a fatigue you cannot sleep away. I really want you to think about your own daily routine for a second. Think about how completely drained you are, sometimes even after getting 8 solid hours of sleep. Just let the sheer exhaustion of that reality resonate with you for a moment. So, how do we fix a mind that's been so damaged by too much connection? Well, we have to face the very thing modern society has trained us to be absolutely terrified of. Let's look at Part 4, the fear of being alone. Solitude heals what constant social exposure damages. I really want you to take that in. Sitting peacefully alone in nature, or just quietly in a room with a good book, without your phone buzzing, without an audience, without a single person you need to perform for. This is not isolation, guys. This is medicine. It is absolutely the true antidote to the modern condition we've been talking about. To actually reclaim your mind, you need to adopt a few major mindset shifts. These come straight from Chase Hughes's behavioral strategies. First, you've got to learn to be present 24/7 in your own physical reality, not the digital one on your screen. Second, you have to become delusionally self-forgiving. Stop punishing yourself for not meeting the crowd's literally impossible standards. And third, stop defending yourself. The very moment you stop feeling the need to explain your existence or justify your choices to other people, your anxiety instantly drops and your psychological resilience finally starts to rebuild. Silence is powerful. And right now, I just want to give you a profound moment to experience exactly that. Just feel the relief of absolutely zero social pressure. If you turn off your screen right now, who is left in the quiet?